Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I'm so happy to be here. I'm a co-author with Karine of a book that was published at the end of the last year called Future Intelligence: The World in 2050, Enabling Governments, Innovators, and Businesses to Create a Better Future. And we're in this Foresight Sphere, and that book especially was published as a culmination of a project that has been going for some years. We interviewed more than 100, especially young global leaders, but also other leaders from around the world and from across different sectors. People who have some opinion about how to build a better future, right? We want to be optimistic. We are on that side of the scenario scanning, and to help people put beside each other different perspectives, because there's not one way, and we of course cannot foresee the future, but we can impact it, and especially if we bring together like-minded individuals. And that book was supposed to be an inspiration for the next generation, listening to leaders across the world, how they see the future, and then hopefully we can give not only some hope and inspiration, but also some ideas on concrete steps to take, from areas ranging from politics, but also climate change and healthcare and education, but the future of families and communication and so on. So this podcast is now a continuation of that project, and we all have a day job. Karine, you know probably well, but my day job is to work with the World Health Organization. I'm a director of the region for the Western Pacific, so I'm calling in from Manila. So I'm here directing the management of the WHO in this region, which is one of the largest, with 37 countries, including China and all the Pacific member states. We have almost 2 billion people living here, and most of the the latest pandemics came from this region. So there's a lot to do. Very interesting area to actually practice what we preach, or walk the talk, as we like to say it in WHO. And it's very nice to meet you. Sorry that was a bit too long, but pleasure to start the podcast.
May I add something to your introduction? Tamas is 3 times TED speaker, and all 3 times really top rated. And I very much recommend, if you once have time, go through his TED Talks. They are all great. In one of them, I am with him on the stage, but I'm not speaking about those, but I'm speaking about that one. But the other ones that he's alone on the stage, great TED Talks. Just very much
Just
recommend.
noted, so it's already I have it open tab.
So, may I go for next? Is it allowed? So I'm Karine Sargsyan. I am a doctor and a psychologist by training. I have 2 high university educations, and I am working in research management. I'm scientist. I did big European projects and developed the European research infrastructures. And at the moment, I'm in US at Cedars-Sinai, leading the oncobiobanking here and the molecular twin initiative, which is actually a combination between biobanking, translational oncology research, and AI and machine learning in the medicine. That's my day job. And my passion is actually foresight sciences and the future. And we found each other with Tamas just because of that passion. Because Tamas worked at his PhD thesis on the future and how to predict with collective mind, that not one person, not 2 people, but a collective leadership mind can decide about better future. So, and we picked that together and made out of it a book, and it became a Springer bestseller. And with this podcast, we are trying to make a version 2 with even more leaders, even more acting leaders. So, and you are our choice.
Thank you so much. So proud about that. Really appreciate that. So, from LinkedIn, what you you have seen there, uh, I have a PhD in electrical engineering, but we do have something in common. I'm not a medical doctor. My PhD was user-centered design for elderly people. So I did something connected for e-health applications. I forgot to mention that. So I did something with e-health back there. I was working in a large telecommunication company, a multinational one. That's why international collaboration is so close to me. And we were working mainly with the eastern part of the world. So in Russia, we had to learn Russian and so on and so on. And I know that no matter the political global situation, it is very important to collaborate. After my job at this large telecommunication company, and when I did my PhD, I moved to the University of Ljubljana, where I became the first female associate professor at the ICT department. There were no female before me. So I was teaching different subjects, mainly how interdisciplinary projects should be done, how we should engineers should collaborate with other fields as well. And like you, Karine, I was most of the time I was working on European projects. Before I became a minister, I was leading at our university 13 EU funded projects, mostly Horizon, but also Interreg projects, also Erasmus Plus. So I started as one-man band, and then my team was more than 20 people. And you need to get funding for all these people. So then I wasn't interested into politics to be part of it. I was following politics, but our prime minister invited me to be part of his team, and he's also an electrical engineer. So in our government at the moment we have 6 electrical engineers, and this is how it's very accidental how I became a minister, and now I'm here for 2 years. So, as mentioned, for me, international collaboration is very important. Mostly what we are doing now is also artificial intelligence. Our ministry is responsible for the national program on artificial intelligence. And we know that without interoperability of data, interoperability of services, it is not possible to use the new technologies to the maximum. So, of course, we are part of the European Union, and we are working a lot with the European Commission, also on the AI Act and so on. But we also want to make sure that all this work that we are doing is well coordinated with the other parts of the world as well. Because you're in health, you know how important it is to have as much data as possible from as many groups of people as possible, because this is the only way how we will find universal medicine, or I don't know, vaccines and so on and so on.
Oh my God, this is great. Because my very first question gonna be, how do you foresee the balance between the technological advancement and the potential societal disruptions of the technology, like artificial intelligence and machine learning? Because we know that they learn from us and we are biased. So
Absolutely.
how you see how we can balance that? What will
Uh,
be for the future your like recipe of balance that disbalance?
it is not easy to balance anything, but the best thing to do if you want to make sure that the technology is not biased and it doesn't include our stereotypes is to include as many people as possible. First, when you're collecting data, so you need data from young people, elderly people, from different races, from different backgrounds, and then also you need different people to do the algorithms, to make sure that their own views are in there, because this is the only way how you will make the balance, so how you will exclude different biases there. And another thing what we can and we must do is to have public algorithms, so just like the Pythagorean theorem, because it is something that serves for the general good. And it's the same with artificial intelligence. If we're using algorithms in medicine, in pharma, in, I don't know, different fields, then it is for the public good. And then such algorithms should be publicly available. This is also, they should be also open, so that everybody can see how the algorithm was built. And then this is the only way how we can make sure that we find whether there are some stereotypes or some biases or something that needs to be adapted. And I always want to echo that we should not be afraid to use new technology. Most of the time, when we're speaking about artificial intelligence, about every technology that comes up, the first impression is, okay, it will ruin the world, it will ruin everything we know so far. No, it won't. Just take a look from the positive side. It is a new technology. It will make our lives different. We need to understand how this technology works. We need to see how it will help us. Also, we need to understand what are the threats and make sure we address those threats. But just because we are afraid of something, we should not stop the innovation out there. And I really don't like how the whole discussion moved in a way that now we are looking, we're all searching how artificial intelligence can ruin us and the world so far, instead of find a way how artificial intelligence will make sure it will make our lives better, easier, how we will find new solutions for the existing problems that we have, for climate change, for health, for environmental concerns, anything that is out there.
If I may follow up that, as a minister, how do you think governments can regulate these emerging technologies that you mentioned, uh, uh, and not disturb the innovative process and entrepreneurship that comes with it? Do you have any examples, maybe from your country, on how you are doing this or how you plan to do it?
So, I'm a minister, but also I'm a researcher and a scientist. So it makes things easier because if you understand how technology works, and if you're working in that field, of course, you don't want to stop the innovation, you don't want to stop the research, but you want to promote all this research that is going on. So in Slovenia, we always say that we should not stop the technology, the development of the technology itself, but we should regulate the use of technology. So we need to find the use cases where it is dangerous to use new technology, and then regulate these use cases, just like the AI Act that was adopted recently at the European Commission. Instead of regulating the technology, let's regulate the use cases and then continue with the development. And this is exactly what Slovenia is doing also. Another very important thing is the regulatory sandboxes. So, because technology is developing very, very fast, if we start, and if you're doing a regulation, a legislation, it takes a long time. Even with the AI Act, it was adopted in a few years, but this was very fast. And you know what happened in between? Gen AI came up, and when the AI Act was, when they first started planning the AI Act, there was no Gen AI. So it was everything changed then. And that's why it is important to have such regulatory sandboxes and to use the technology in a controlled environment, and then to translate the regulation also in the real environment, if I may say so.
Sounds really a very good way to go, but I want to come back to the question, to the that you made in the previous question answer to the previous question. What was the role of the digital transformation in climate change and the environmental challenges? How you see that exactly? How that can help us?
So first thing, we always have to see both ways. A lot of times we are saying digital transformation can help us in the with the environmental changes, but let's start from the beginning. ICT technology spends approximately 11 to 13% of all the electrical of all the energy out there. So, first, we need to consider new technologies like low power semiconductors to make sure that we reduce the power that is needed by the ICT industry. And then another thing, we need to consider circular economy as well. I will just share with you an example what we are doing in Slovenia right now. This is in my hometown in Maribor. We are building a new data center and a new supercomputer. We already have one, and now we are planning the next one. For the cooling of the data center and the supercomputer, we are going to use the water from a river that is here. It is in a city called Maribor, and there is a river Drava. And this is nothing new. Many cities are doing similar things. But what is the problem so far is that this heat that was the water, the heated water, was returned back in the river. And this is not good for the environment and for the species that are living in the river. So what we are trying to do now in Maribor, and we will do, is to use the waste heat and to heat the residential buildings in the surroundings. So we are not going to use electrical energy to cool the data center and the supercomputer. We are using natural resources. Then we are not going to destroy the natural resources again by heating the water, but we are going to use this waste heat and make sure that the citizens in our city have hot water for showering on a very, very low cost. And these are the ways how you need to have the bigger picture. Then, of course, you can use artificial intelligence data for many, many monitoring, planning, and so on and so on. But it's important not to make sure that you are looking from one side and then you are even more destroying the environment. So you need to have the big picture.
So you mentioned this is very interesting. These data centers and considering the rapid pace of change and on a global scale and these innovative technologies, how can a country like Slovenia, which is a relatively one of the smaller country, let's say. I come from Hungary, so it's similar to
You
Hungary.
can say small country.
Yeah, I don't know if it fits that or it's the middle, but it's let's say it's one of the smaller countries. So it requires indeed some additional ideas, right? Innovative ideas to remain competitive. What strategies you think Slovenia, as a smaller country, can use in this environment moving forward into the future to remain indeed as competitive as possible?
So it was last year that our government adopted the Digital Slovenia 2030 strategy. And it is very important that you're not only running for the trends that are out there, but you need to have the analysis. You need to see where are your strengths and then to work on those strengths. For example, in Slovenia, we're very strong on artificial intelligence. We have tradition like 50 years of not only researching but also teaching artificial intelligence. So instead of going for all these different new trends like blockchain and I don't know, internet of things and so on, just take a look. What are your capacities? Where are the people? Because you need the people. It's not only the infrastructure, but you need experts. And then to really move in that direction, to really specialize in that direction. And also in our Digital Slovenia strategy, first we did the analysis. What do we have at the moment? For example, in Slovenia, we're way above the European average on connectivity. 94% of our households have access to high-speed broadband, which is not the case with even the most developed countries in Europe. Then we also know what are our challenges, like the digital skills of our citizens. And then built on that, in our Digital Slovenia strategy, we said these are our priorities. We have a national program on artificial intelligence. Again, we have 6 priorities, and then we built it, also an action plan, and we planned the different resources for these priorities. So it is very important to know what you have, and then to use those resources that are available for the priorities that you have as a country, especially if you're a small-sized country, because you have limited resources. Everybody has limited resources, but for a country of 2 million, this is even bigger problem.
Absolutely understand. I'm really amazed. I'm coming from Graz, so we are neighbors. And understanding that you have enough energy to heat, I'm very happy about that, because we can buy maybe and have a little bit of that actually economic and also climate cleverness, and maybe neighbors can also profit out of it. But from other side, actually, population is afraid of AI and so on, because we have this Hollywood. At the moment, I'm in LA, in Beverly Hills, and everybody is afraid of AI is coming to take over and so on. How you ensure in the projects that you oversee that the ethics is prioritized and the human-centered design is prioritized? How, which methods you use, that you can be sure, because especially as a woman, I mean, for us that is very important.
Absolutely. So first, whenever we are speaking about artificial intelligence, we always present both the positive and the negative sides, so people can really see that we don't hide anything. We say, okay, artificial intelligence can help us in this, and this way, but there are some threats that we need to address. And probably, maybe you have heard, but in February this year in Slovenia, together with UNESCO, we organized a global forum on ethics in artificial intelligence. And everybody was able to see how important this is for us. There were more than 600 participants from 67 countries from all around the world. So it is a very important topic. And we had 2-day conference where we were discussing ethics in AI. And we're always promoting ethics by design, human not only centered, but also human rights by design. So everybody here is able to listen, to see that this is not something that we're using artificial intelligence just for capitalist reasons, but we're using for the good, because we believe that artificial intelligence will make the world better, will make our lives, our jobs easier and better. And another thing, what we're doing in our country is we are co-funding a lot of programs for all age groups. We are starting from the very young ones till the elderly ones. And we believe that by training, by education, we're going to raise citizens that understand how technology work. Okay, at least to know the basics. And when people know the basics, then they're also not so much afraid. Usually, we're afraid from the things we don't know. And you just need to show them examples. You tell them, okay, but you are using AI for so long. AI is nothing new. This is again what media are doing, and they're not aware about the consequences. Artificial intelligence is the first time the term was used, it was in 1956. And we tell them we have Josef Stefan Institute, and there was Professor Ivan Bratko, who is alive and comes to our events. He was doing research with his students at the Josef Stefan Institute for 50 years. And then people say, okay, really, it's nothing new. It's just a new term. telling to my students, I was studying artificial intelligence. I'm not that young, so we were studying back then as well, and just to show them examples how it is useful for them, how it will help them. Then again, you mentioned women, but not only women, also minorities. It is important to really include them, to make sure that they are involved, that they are not excluded, and that the algorithms will take their data into account as well. I'm a very positive person when it comes to AI. I never, I'm aware of the threats, but I don't want to see it from the negative side, because the first thing, even when researchers are start to speak about artificial intelligence, it's like we're apologizing. We're using artificial intelligence, and then we start finding reasons why this is okay. Like we're confronting people. It's fine that you use artificial intelligence. I admit I use artificial intelligence. I even use ChatGPT and so on every day. And I tell people I'm preparing my speeches with artificial intelligence. And it's not like, and but then I always say I'm using artificial intelligence only for the areas where I'm very confident. I will never use artificial intelligence for uh, medicine or for, I don't know, for law, because I don't have enough background. But for example, for digital transformation, for whatever comes to do with something, I have my background, I know that something is right or not, then artificial intelligence is amazing too.
It's really great to hear how you as a minister embrace these new technologies and then try to help others to do the same and inspire them. So obviously then the next step is to also try to reach out to the society, to the masses, and provide inspiration so that they do something similar, right? Some kind of education transformation probably is required. I was reading about the FabLab network in Slovenia, which also is very inspiring, and I think is a case in point in the same direction, which was, if I understand, was inspired by MIT, an MIT lab. So can you say a little bit more about that initiative, but also how similar initiatives can contribute to indeed that societal change, to so people to think like you do?
It is all about communities. It's all about collaboration, having like-minded people working together, connected, and then efficient use of resources. You mentioned we're a small-sized country, then we need to have everybody on the table if we want to move in the right direction. And with the Fab Lab, the idea was just to connect. We knew that there are many Fab Labs in Slovenia already, but they were working on their own, and we wanted to connect them, and also maybe to find a funding. I was working with European projects, so this is something I know how to do. But the good thing was that they started having common projects, common programs. So it was just like meetings a few times per year to inform themselves, to get to know each other. And then the network as such, it is not a separate organization now, so they are all different organizations. But just recently one of the Fab Labs now gained a funding for a project that is also providing digital skills for people older than 30 years old. So it was the whole idea with the Fab Labs, with the digital innovation hubs that we have in Slovenia, is to connect people, to collaborate. And another thing, we're always speaking that we lack transfer of knowledge from the academia to the industry, and this is why we need Fab Labs or digital innovation hubs to have both the academia and the industry and the NGOs and the local communities to be together, because what is everybody's working into silos. So academia and research, you either it is your PhD or I don't know, you know there is the potential funding, and then you start working on that. Even maybe if you're not interested, but you know that you need to at the end of the day you need a salary. So if you know that there is a opportunity to get funding, then you start working on that. Then on the other side, you have the industry. They know what is their priority. They know what their goals. And you have the communities. So they don't know what technologies are emerging technologies. They don't know how they can use these technologies. So you need everybody together, that maybe the companies can tell you what are the ways they're in which direction they're looking, what they need from the industry, then to make sure that their solutions can be also used in the local communities. So as you can see, I always want to see the big picture. I want to see, I say, the wood, not only one tree, because what we experience all around the world is we're looking at different trees and we don't know how it connects together. So this is how we started with the FabLab network, then with the Digital Innovation Hub, and even now the ministry that I'm leading, digital transformation, it is not a vertical ministry. It is a very horizontal ministry. Everything what we do, it has to do with other ministries as well. So I like to connect people.
I mean, that sounds so good, but the word ministry and horizontal in one sentence, this is already a contradiction a little bit for me. Because it's really great to see the excitement in your eyes if you speak about how to change the perception of, for instance, artificial intelligence and the technology, and also working with kids and with older people and with in the middle, and teach everybody. I mean, that's a great initiative, because I saw how my own mom, who is not maybe young, learn to use specific tools like also ChatGPT from my nephew, who is 14. So bringing people together to work and to teach each other and to understand the needs of each, it's something really great. And it's for us also from the future perspective very important to ensure the secure future for us. And if you would combine all together, let's say, three most important things that you think that we need to know about digitalization and about AI, ML, and so on, about the technology to have a better future for planet Earth, what these three components would be?
Ooh, this is a difficult question, but first, no one left behind is definitely. And when we're speaking about no one left behind, we need to consider three things. First, access to infrastructure. We need access to the internet. Because if people don't have access to the internet, they're excluded right from the beginning. We have at the moment approximately 3 billion people that don't have access to the internet, and we know how data is collected. So they're excluded already. Access to equipment as well. Even if they have internet there, but if they don't have computers, if they don't have tablets, mobile phones, and so on, they cannot use this technology that is available. Then, of course, digital skills is the third thing that we need there. They need digital skills. And when we're speaking about digital skills, the biggest misunderstanding is that people know how to code. No, digital skills is much more than that. It's also media and information literacy. It's also cybersecurity. It is problem solving with new technologies. So if we want to have a better future for everyone, we need to address these three challenges to make sure that everybody has access to internet, access to computer equipment, and access to digital skills. If we solve these three challenges, then I'm sure that we can all gain from digital transformation.
Wow. I like that future. I want to live in that future. And this is a very positive moment to wrap up our interview. Thank you very much for your time. This was really great. This was really positive. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. And since you're neighbors, uh, Hungary and Austria. I live in Maribor, by the way. When you will come to your countries, I kindly invite you. We will go together to the place where the new data center and supercomputer is, and you will see in real life how these things work.
Oh my God, that would be great.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you so much. That's a great invitation. We're gonna take that invitation
Yes,
and
please,
come.
please.
Okay. Wow. Thank you very much. Have a great day. And till the next time when our project is getting a little bit bigger and we are coming back to you to contribute a little bit more.
Thank you so
because
much.
we need positive and thinkers, positive thinkers for better future,
For positive future, we need positive thinkers.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.